All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this live stream. We are starting this live stream because we have a few severe thunderstorm warnings in the area, and one of them in particular, it's this one over central parts of Stearns County, is producing some very large hail, up to 2 inches in diameter. We have seen some notice of that, basically from the National Weather Service. It's a radar indicated as of right now, but it does mean that this storm is capable of producing a lot of damage. The storm is staying to the west of St. Cloud, and it's moving to the south and east, as we can see on here as well. It's basically right over Albany right now, crossing Interstate 94, continuing on its track southward. So we'll come through towns like Avon here in just a second as well. You can hear some very heavy rain, some loud thunder around that area too. It's continuing further south and eastward as it is doing so. As of right now, we also have a severe thunderstorm warning just east of St. Cloud. This one is not showing up here on radar just yet. But that one is, it does not include any part of St. Cloud. It's just outside of there. That is this storm that's forming right here. It's continuing to move southeastward as well. And that is going to impact Clear Lake and Clearwater as we speak. It continues to track southeastward. Becker is in the polygon for that severe thunderstorm warning as well, and hopefully that pops up here in just a second too. And then it will continue to track onward towards Silver Creek, and also that one is very close to crossing Interstate 94. So two severe thunderstorm warnings on the map in the St. Cloud area right now. Both, again, not impacting St. Cloud. One is off to the west, one is off to the south and east, and especially the one to the west is likely producing some large to even very large hail. Both are not expected to impact St. Cloud anymore. The one to the west will continue to stay to the west of St. Cloud, and there it was on the last frame. We'll see if we can pop it up. We have to pause it first, and there we go. So this is the second severe thunderstorm warning just to the south and east of St. Cloud. St. Cloud is where that little dot is up there. You might probably not even see that. And then this is continuing to move on to the south and east, so that's not impacting us. Here's a little bit of a bigger picture. We have a few more storms off to the east, heading towards the Twin Cities. Not of any concern for us. Just look a little bit further upstream. We're not seeing any more severe storms forming around there. But remember, these storms also just formed basically where they are right now. So they are back building a little bit, as we call it. So upstream, they continue to develop a little bit more. And that it looks like that's what they're doing right now as well. So again, if you are just tuning in, we have two severe thunderstorm warnings in the area, both not impacting St. Cloud, but especially the one off to the west appears to be very strong, producing some 2-inch diameter hail possibly. That is, if I'm not mistaken, well over golf ball, probably closer to tennis ball size hail, very similar to what we saw about a week ago. With some of those storms. And the one to the south and east is a little bit weaker, but is also producing probably some quarter-sized hail, and both are producing 60 mile per hour wind gusts as well. So the one west of St. Cloud is probably the heaviest bit of it, should already have passed I-94 as of right now. Somewhere between Albany and Avon most likely, and it continues to track on southward. St. Joseph and Collegeville are in the far eastern areas of the polygon as well, right around there, and they continue to be in that polygon there as well. And as the storm, the core of the storm is probably heading towards Cold Springs now as well. They're right along Minnesota Highway 23, and this is all happening east of Painesville as well. You can see Painesville on the map there too. That's not included in that warning either. So things that you should do if you find yourself in this warning: make sure that you go inside a sturdy building that is not a mobile home. It's probably better not to be in a car either, especially with the one west of St. Cloud, because the hail is so large. Pull over, don't stop in the middle of the interstate especially, but just take the next exit, go into a convenience store or a gas station or anything. You can take shelter there as well. You probably don't want to drive through a storm of that strength, and make sure you take cover there, and that you are safe in that situation too. And it's basically the same deal for the one to the east of St. Cloud, because that's very close to crossing the interstate as well, somewhere between St. Cloud and probably the Becker Monticello exits right around there too. So that's something to keep in mind there as well. So both storms are impacting areas along the interstate right now, so that's something to keep in mind there too. As I mentioned, you probably don't want to be driving through any of these storms because the rain will be very heavy, especially the one west of St. Cloud is looking to have some very large hail with it as well that can definitely do damage to your vehicle, and probably also the one near just east of St. Cloud could have some pretty substantial hail with it as well. As I start the loop again, you see that the storms are forming just north and west of St. Cloud. They are back building a little bit, so they continue to form further upstream. Looks like in the last few volume scans, they're doing that a little bit less than they were doing initially, so that could be a good sign. That could be a sign that these storms are on their way out now and they will not continue to build up to the north and east. With that back building, flooding is always a concern as well. But as I mentioned, as it looks like now in the last few scans that it's not really, these storms are not really doing that anymore. That could be a good sign, but also the flooding threat would be a little bit lower. And as we continue with these storms, the biggest threat will be large hail. The western storm, as of right now, the National Weather Service says $0.5 size hail, which is smaller than it was a few minutes ago while we started this live stream. So the hail numbers are coming down a little bit, and also on reflectivity, it's starting to look a little bit less impressive. So that's a good sign there as well as these storms continue to move on to the south and east. So we're going to wrap it up here, as especially the western storm seems to weaken just a little bit. But before we leave, I do want to make sure that you know that this is happening, that we have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings around the St. Cloud area. Both are not impacting St. Cloud. The one to the west appears to be the strongest one that has just crossed Interstate 94, or at least the strongest part of it. It's probably still raining between Freeport and Wade Park on the interstate, with some $0.5 size hail now, radar indicated. We have not seen any official reports of that. Continues to move on southeastward, basically just west of Collegeville, heading towards Cold Springs with the strongest part of that cell. And then it will hit Minnesota Highway 23 here, probably in the next 15 to 20 minutes. And then the other one just southeast of St. Cloud. And I will stop the loop there so you can see that one on the screen too. That is also moving southeastward. That is also approaching Interstate 94, probably right over it right now between St. Cloud and Becker or Monticello, with some very heavy rain and some large hail as well. Let's see if we can see a latest reading on that. Still says quarter-sized hail there with that storm. Both are also producing 60 miles per hour wind gusts. And then this storm southeast of St. Cloud is basically over Clearwater right now, near the Clear Lake area too. Continues to move on south and eastward, getting pretty close to Silver Creek probably in the next half hour or so, and possibly passing just to the west of Becker. So that's a quick update here. We'll leave it here. If we get any news of thunderstorms out, of course we'll post it on our social media. We will keep you updated as we go on. I will now head over to KVSC, to the radio station here in St. Cloud, with probably more updates on the severe weather. So if you want to hear more about that, you should tune in there as well. So have a good day.